The sport loops are a style of band that are beloved by many. What makes them such a popular choice amongst Apple Watch enthusiasts is how lightweight and breathable they are, as well as them being infinitely adjustable, meaning that no matter what, you can always expect a very tight and snug fit that you can fix to your liking. You can make these as tight or as loose as you'd like, so you never have to worry about getting the right sizing. And for the fall 2022 release, we get some really rad and awesome new colors for the Sport Loop line. I personally think this release of Sport Loops has some of the coolest options Apple has ever released. We have a total of 5 brand new color options, and each one has distinct properties to them that make them all very memorable and extremely good to look at, with some pairings being particularly dapper. Guys, make sure to stick around until the end of the video for instructions on how you can win one of these all-new Sport Loops all for yourself, and keep your eyes peeled for the bonus giveaway. Somewhere hidden in this video is a band from a prior generation, and the first 2 people that spot it and can describe it and put a timestamp below will be entered into a live drawing on a YouTube live stream where I'll announce all of the standard giveaway winners. Time and date for that live stream is still to be announced, but guys, this is video number 3 of many more to come, taking a closer look at the all-new bands released for the fall 2022 season. So I hope you guys have some snacks nearby, maybe a drink, and so without further ado, let's get this party started. Alright boys and girls, if any of you have been window shopping for new bands, you may have stumbled across the all new Sport Loops that all have this very elegant and gorgeous gradient that runs vertically across each band. It's more subtle on some, but you can't deny that the colors all seem to play off each other extremely well to create this awesome array of colors that all seem to blend well so masterfully. Starting us off, let's begin looking at this year's all new Product Red Sport Loop, and by the way, for those keeping track at home, this makes this the 6th generation of Product Red Sport Loops. I know there's a lot, and I have the majority of them right here. They mostly range from different tones and hues of deep energetic reds. Sometimes they're more subtle wine reds with hints of burgundies, but every so often we get a really bright Product Red band that has more characteristics of pinks and oranges. And that's exactly the case here with the all new 6th gen Product Red band. The predominant colors comprise of this very in-your-face and very bright red with large doses of pinks and even some oranges thrown into the mix to create a band that will radiate harshly on the wrist. So you already know what that means. For those bandaholics that prefer the subtle and more low-key bands, you'll definitely want to stray away from this one as it is quite bright. Then, flanking the band on both sides, we get 2 different streaks of colors that complement the bright red predominant color. On the left is a very subtle, almost muted pink sand color that has some grays thrown in there, and it tries its best to neutralize this very in-your-face band. The opposite streak is a brighter peachy streak that further accentuates the bright nature of the band. Overall, I think it's okay, but I would have much preferred a deeper red, especially given this is a Product Red band after all, not Product Pink. It's not my favorite of this batch, and for that reason, I'm giving it a hard 6.5 out of 10. Up next is Storm Blue, and as its name suggests, it features differing shades of blues, but also throws in some other interesting colors that are a bit more unorthodox, especially for a blue band. The predominant color of the band is a very deep and rich blue, almost navy color. It's not a super ultra dark navy like some of Apple's other blue bands, and for me, that's a big plus. Being contrasted by a light sky blue streak to the right and being complemented by a lighter, more subtle blue streak to the left creates this really awesome illusion of the darker predominant blue seeming to be almost trapped between these 2 streaks that feature differing intensities and shades of blue. What really strikes me about this band is the interesting gradient found running down the middle of the band. Look closely and we feature streaks of browns, khakis, and even tan streaks, which I think pair up spectacularly well against the Starlight aluminum watch. I mean, just look at this pairing. Doesn't it look awesome? I've said before in my other band reviews that I'm not too fond of blue bands since number 1, there's so many of them, and number 2, most end up looking very similar. But the way this band blends so seamlessly with the more tan-esque colors that run along its gradient really elevate this band and gives it a very distinctive swagger. A very solid band, and I personally give it a nice 8.6 out of 10. Up next is my personal favorite of the bunch due to its serenity and grace it aims to portray. I'm talking about none other than the all-new Starlight Sport Loop. This band truly is one of the most unique color combinations I've seen in a long while on the Sport Loop line. It doesn't take much to appreciate this awesome blend of colors that all pair up fantastic on the aluminum Apple Watch of the same name. Pairing this Starlight band with the Starlight aluminum Apple Watch somehow seems like it's a pairing that has descended from the Apple Watch band gods themselves. The band's main color is a very light and calming light tan color that throws in elements of taupes and grays, but really looks white in certain conditions like direct sunlight. But there are tones of creams and even vanillas, but it's very subtle. Then on the right hand side, we feature a vertical streak of this very bold yellow that isn't overly flashy. It's just the perfect amount of yellow that isn't trying to blind you. The left-hand streak is a darker tone of the predominant color, being a more prominent tan color that mixes in elements of light browns and turns the vibrancy and saturation up versus the background lighter color. Both of these embody the spirit of the Starlight color and vibe. And I know some people don't like Starlight and prefer the standard and iconic silver color. However, I personally disagree and love the all-new Starlight. But honestly, the most exciting addition to this band are the different colors that comprise the vertical gradient. We feature a brighter yellow streak that fully complements the slightly darker streak that flanks the right side. We also then have some subtle light blue, almost turquoise streaks, as well as gray and tan streaks that all combine together to create this extremely cool looking band. It's up there currently on my list of all new favorite bands, and for that reason I give it a solid 9.6 out of 10, almost a perfect tier S band. For our second to last one, we feature the opposite color of Starlight, which is Midnight. However, the Midnight Sport Loop isn't exactly what one would initially imagine. The Midnight Sport Loop for this release is a dark band, but intertwines other interesting colors that make this band a bit more ambiguous and mysterious. First of all, the main color of the band is that dark and sleek midnight color. It's almost a black, but not exactly, and this has to do with its naming. After all, it's called Midnight. But the choices of the streaks flanking either side of the band are quite intriguing. The color on the right is this very light green color. Think of it as a really light cargo khaki with some light greens, tans, and grays thrown in that make this a pretty interesting and unique color, especially when paired with Midnight. The left streak is a darker and more prominent mossy green that's both dark but also complements the darker vibe that Midnight tries to portray. Our inner gradient is a blend of a variety of colors from the color wheel featuring grays, dark blues, some crimson with orange hints, and some dark browns. All of these colors surprisingly go over well and look seamless when put up against such a dark background. It's an interesting band that definitely strays away from what you traditionally expect from Midnight, and I think it's a very unique band to add to your collection. This one gets a pretty good 7.4 out of 10 in my book. And finally, our last and final band that rounds out this batch, we feature Elderberry, a band that has a friendly twist on the whole pink color scheme and is a band that features elements of just about everything. It's a conglomeration of light colors, dark colors, bright contrasty colors, as well as toned down and subtle, more muted colors. This one's great. Our main color here features this wine color that is more burgundy than it is purple, but also looks like it's blended with just the perfect amount of dark navies to create such a splendid canvas to layer on the other colors that are present. To the right is a chalk pink streak that is both bright enough to contrast against the darker background color, but also isn't too bright in regards to saturation and vibrancy. It's the perfect amount of pink that encapsulates the berry part of its name, and is then accompanied by this nice and rich peachy color that is more red than it is orange, and also throws in some slight hints of pink that all come together for a heavy contrast as well. Our inner gradient has orangish reds as well as light blues that almost look turquoise in the sun. I know there's a connotation with the color pink and society having it be associated with a gender, but I think all of that is silly. I'll proudly wear pink bands and clothing, but the thing about this band is that it's not even overly pink, nor is it overly dark. It's a great middle ground for those band lovers who are ready to test the waters with brighter bands that carry more character to them than your standard darker bands. It's a great choice, and I personally give it a good 7.9 out of 10. And there you have it, guys, all of the Sport Loops officially reviewed. I know a ton of you guys requested this one since the Sport Loops are extremely popular amongst Apple band enthusiasts, especially since Apple tends to get more creative on this style of bands than something like the sport bands, which almost always are typically comprised of a singular color. Let me know what you guys think though. There's a lot of great options here, so definitely drop a comment letting me know which one is your favorite. As far as the giveaway, guys, it's the same as all my other band giveaways. There's 3 simple rules to follow. Number 1, you must be subscribed to my channel with bell notifications. The notifications are crucial if you want to also get that bonus entry of the hidden band giveaway. I'm going to start to make these hidden bands a lot harder to find, so make sure to keep your eyes peeled and be on top of it whenever I upload a video. Number 2, follow me over on my socials for channel polls, news updates, potential for other giveaways, and also announcements including the time and date for the official band giveaway live stream. I'm still aiming for before Halloween, but it's not set in stone just yet, so please stay tuned. And finally, you all know I like to get to know you guys on a more personal level and like to ask a different common question of the day on each video. So for today's simple question is to answer the following: what is your current favorite snack? Those who know me personally know that spicy chips, including Takis, Hot Cheetos, and Doritos Flamas here in the States, have been a staple in my diet ever since I was like 4. So guys, with that, I did want to say my Apple Watch Ultra should arrive in the studio this upcoming Friday, September 23rd, as well as the all-new AirPods Pro 2nd Gen. So stay tuned for those unboxings, as I am really hyped for those items to arrive. Good luck to all who enter the giveaway, and as always, take care of yourselves, everybody, and I cannot wait to catch you all in my next video.